Be blessed by the divine, be blessed by the divine, be blessed by the divine. May Guru's blessings help us successfully complete today's session. Good morning, all. Today we shall resume our discussions on the book The Journey of Consciousness by our Guru Vedatri Maharishi. In the last two sessions, we had discussed about the purpose of yoga, the value of yoga, a little bit about pain and pleasure, and also about the life force. The life force and how it fluctuates within the body. Today, we shall start the topic, the 5 layers of the body. Maharishi first starts by reminding us about the value of the human body. He says that the human body is a valuable and peculiar structure. It is a complex construction of various systems: solid, liquid, fire, air, and energy, otherwise called ether, are interlinked and interwoven. We can compare these 5 layers of the body with a 5% relay race. In the 5% relay race, since we people are of different types and have different talents, each and every person in the group will have different running speeds. One may be faster than the other, or one may be slower than the other. So it is the strategy that the group uses, or the coach who trains the group uses, in order to make the group a perfect group or in a perfect order. I guess I have not participated in the relay before, so I clearly do not know, but I guess that the people with the least running speeds lie in between, and the ones with higher running speeds stand on the either ends, that is the start and the end points. That is the strategy that the people use, or the coach uses, is the one that will help the group to win. That is, cooperation, teamwork, and proper understanding within the group mates, that is the 5 people, is necessary for winning the trophy. Hence, it is important for the 5 people to be interlinked when it comes to a relay race. Suppose, let's take an example that the relay race has started, and the first person has given the stick to the second one. The second one has given the stick to the third one. Now, when the third person starts running, and suppose the third person skids a little, or he slips a little, rather he slips a little, what happens? The overall performance of the entire team will reduce by a second or two. Not much, but still, when it comes to a race, even milliseconds get counted or is concerned. So the entire team's performance will reduce by a 2 or 3 second. Since the person in the third position reduces due to obstruction, reduces his speed or delays the delivery of the stick to the fourth person, the entire team's overall performance, or even the opportunity for the entire team to win the trophy, will be affected. Suppose it's a third person itself falls down, he skids and falls down, and it takes him about 2 or 3 minutes to get back to his position and deliver the stick to the fourth person. The entire team's performance will be further reduced by 2 or 3 minutes now. Now, this is a big deal. The entire team's opportunity to win the trophy uh, is reduced even more. That is, the any obstruction or diversion to even one person in the relay team will affect the entire team's overall performance. So when the third person somehow manages to stand, get back to his position, deliver it to the fourth person, and the fourth person delivers it to the fifth person, the stick to the fifth person. Now the fifth person's is the response has the most highest responsibility of letting the group get the trophy. The responsibility of the group to get the trophy now lies in the fifth person's arm. This is because we all know that the fifth person will have the highest running speed among all of them. So he has to now increase his speed by 2 or 3 times in order to cope up or overcome the obstruction the third person has faced. That is, he fell down. So there was a delay in the overall performance of the group was reduced. Hence, the person who is at the last or the fifth person has to increase his speed by 2 or 3 times so that he can get the trophy for the entire team. Just like this relay race, even the human body has 5 layers, that is, solid, liquid, fire, air, and energy. The functioning speeds of the 5 layers may be different, but where they all move in a relation to the attractive force of the earth. Here Maharishi has given us that liquid moves faster than solid, fire moves faster than liquid, air moves faster than fire, and ether moves faster than air. This is because of the molecular structure of all these elements. All these five elements are circulating in the system in a complex yet perfect order. All the 5 layers are interlinked. Even if one gets disturbed or obstructed, the others also get affected according to the intensity of the disturbance. When any such obstruction, diversion, or exhaustion occurs, the life energy, which is the strongest layer, is able to regulate the function by removing the obstruction. In the relay race, the fifth person had to overcome the obstruction, whereas here the fifth person can be compared to the ether or the life energy. It has the capability to remove the obstruction, not just overcome but remove the obstruction. Maharishi says or further explains us that when an obstruction or disturbance, it may be internal or external, occurs to the molecular structure of the physical body, then the blood, heat, and air circulations also get disturbed as a chain reaction. The life force works to rearrange the molecular structure by converting more and more of its own magnetism into the required pressure force. The molecular arrangement is already disturbed, and thus it affects the insulation guarding the cells against the overflow of electricity. Now, an abnormal conversion of life force into pressure is also present for the purpose of rearranging the molecules in that part of the body. Hence, the loss of insulation and excess conversion results in short circuit that is felt in the body as pain, or in physical body as pain. We can take an example of an accident. Suppose when someone meets with an accident, the person starts to bleed in his arm. Blood starts to bleed. So what will happen? since the blood circulation is affected in that particular area, all the other circulations also get affected. Heat circulation, air circulation, uh, every circulation gets affected here. Especially when it comes to the life force, we had already seen that the life force is the strongest layer and it removes the obstruction. So now the life force has the responsibility to remove or stop the bleeding. So what will the life force do? It will use its own magnetism to create a protective layer over the blood flow in order to stop further blood flow. It is done by WBC and platelets and all the other plasma and all the other things. Since the blood had already come out, the molecular structure in the arm will be affected now, and since because of that there will be overflow of electricity there, and that short circuit will be felt as pain in that arm. Definitely, any person who starts bleeding will not have a pleasure feeling in them. They will definitely feel it as pain or worry or any other depression. We can also take an example of parallelization here. When a person's either half get paralyzed, or if any part of the body gets paralyzed, there will be excess circulation in the other parts of the body. Suppose we can take that the entire left arm of a person, left hand of a person gets paralyzed. So what will happen? The energy or heat circulation, energy circulation, blood circulation, and all the liquid circulation that was going on in that arm, that left hand, will be now present in the other rest of the body. That is, there will be excess level of energy in the other parts of the body. So when the stock of life energy is increased, there we will have an urge to exhaust or use up the stock. For that, Maharishi says that one will have the desire to do some work or to enjoy some happiness, by which the excess force may automatically get consumed or spent. So what will happen? When the person whose left hand is paralyzed, what he will do? He will use his right hand a lot. He will starts using his left leg or in his legs a lot. That is, he gives a lot of work to the other parts of the body, because he has so much energy in him that he wants to spend it out. He doesn't want excess energy to remain in his body. So this is felt as pleasure, or we can also say happiness. Here Maharishi says something that has to be highlighted. That is, an action which reserves or serves to remove the discomfort is felt as happiness, because it will lead to a state of peacefulness. Here we have to focus or emphasize on the words remove the discomfort. If we search, we can if we analyze or think deeper, we can know the meaning of discomfort or sadness or pain. But if we think of happiness, it is not something that is given a meaning to. It is just the removal of discomfort. A removal of sorrowness will lead to happiness. Sorrowness is something that will come by external sources or just by internal resources. But happiness is something that will come only when we remove the sadness. But sadness does not come when we remove the happiness. It is when something else happens that sadness comes. But when the sadness is removed, happiness comes. So happiness does not have a different meaning or a unique definition. The removal of sadness is happiness. For this, we can even tell or explain with an example of an exam hall. Suppose we may have prepared quite well for the exams, and hence we are not very tensed about it, or we do not pressurize ourselves. We'll be in a neutral mind state. So when we get the question paper, and when we go through the question paper, we find that one question is something that we haven't learned till then. So what will happen? We get tensed. We were neutral, or we were in a calm state of mind till then. We were not happy before, but we were just in a neutral state of mind. But when we saw that unknown question appear on the question paper, we get really tensed. The mind processes very fast in order to think for the answer, but we don't get it, so we get tensed. We worry about the answer, we worry about the mark, even though our hands will keep writing, will be writing the other answers. The mind will be thinking about the answer for that unknown question. That unknown question remains in our mind so prominently that we just forget everything, and we just get so deep into it. We get depressed, we get sad, because we don't know that one question. But before that, we were in a neutral state of mind. Suppose when the teacher enters and says that that question was by mistake printed on our question paper, so what will happen? We will get relieved, we'll be happy. That is happiness. That is, we were earlier in a neutral state of mind, and then we got tensed because we didn't know an answer. And when the teacher told that it was not a part of a question paper, we were relieved and we were happy. That is, happiness does not come or does not have a proper definition, but it is the removal of the sadness. So, yeah, conversion and exhaustion of life energy may be felt as pleasurable sensation in the beginning, but when it exceeds the tolerance limit of the senses, or when the expenditure goes beyond a minimum critical level of the stock of the life force, the sensation becomes painful. That is when we become extremely happy. That is, I said in the example of paralyzation, the person uses the other arm or other parts of the body so much. At the beginning, he will just the person will start developing various new uh, talents, like drawing. He keeps on drawing. He draws for 5 days, 10 days, 15 days, but on the 20th day, since though there is so much energy in the body, since there was excess usage beyond the tolerance limit, that 20th day, the same drawing the same thing will be felt as pain. For this, we can also take an example of children, which includes me as well. When we go to a long drive, or when we move out somewhere for a longer period of time, I can relate a lot to this example when it comes to a long drive to Dubai or somewhere else. The first few hours, first 1 hour or something, I'll be very excited. I'll be looking out to the outside the window and enjoying each and everything. Even a small rail track, I will enjoy each and everything. I'll enjoy the tree, I will enjoy the plant, I will enjoy the, I don't know, maybe the walls also, walls of the buildings. The first hour will be so much exciting. I'll enjoy each and every little detail around me. But after some time, I'll get exhausted. I don't feel like seeing even something which is very grand or which is very extravagant. This is because I had excess stock of life energy in me when I started, and since I was excited, I used up all my energy in looking out or listening to music or anything else, or thinking about what will I do in Dubai, or where I'll go, and all those. After the 1 or 2 hours, my level of the stock of life energy reduces, and hence I feel tired, I go sleep, or I just don't see anything, I just get bored, I get exhausted in simple words. To explain this, Maharishi has also given us an example. Let's look at that. He says, suppose a person having surplus energy goes to a drum beating entertainment. He will enjoy its pleasure only for a very short period of time. When his eardrums is not able to tolerate the level of conversion of such a degree of sound, we all know drum beating has heavy degrees of sound, the sensation will become painful due to the disturbance in the molecular structure of the eardrum, even though there's surplus in the overall stock of the energy. That is, even though we may have excess energy, if it starts hurting or damaging the overall stock, overall molecular structure of that particular sense organ, that will also be felt as pain. We had discussed a little more about that in the earlier session with the example of sweet coffee and daylight, sunlight, cinema halls, etc. Maharishi further says or concludes that fluctuation in the stock and the method and level of conversion is the cause and source of pain and pleasure sensations. The more one knows about this secret, the more one will be one's responsibility in the maintenance of the life force will increase. The result will be harmony and peace in life through conscious restriction of activities. Marisha said us that this is a secret, but I guess he has already thrown out everything to us. So it's our responsibility. It's our importance. It is important for us to grab the thrown away things and put it in our minds and follow his guidelines to have harmony and peace in life. With that, he continues that the charge, stock, and conversion capacity may undergo fluctuations by hereditary factors, quality of food, thought, deeds, changes of planetary positions, and accidents. Here he says the various reasons behind the fluctuations that may occur in the life force. That is fluctuations in life force of different people will vary. One's fluctuations may be higher, one's fluctuations may be lower. This is because of hereditary factors and the 5 limitations that Maharishi has given us: food, thought, deeds, work, sleep, and sexual activities, and changes in the planetary positions that we cannot do anything, we cannot go and change the position of the planets, and accidents which may be unintentional, so we cannot avoid those as well. Yeah. Here Maharishi says that the understanding, self-awareness, and the willpower of a person are the powerful media to regulate and maintain the life force with full sense of responsibility. When one person comes to know the importance of something in life, it is only then that he takes it with or he regulates or maintains that with consciousness. Similarly, here Maharishi also says that understanding self-awareness and willpower is important, that one has to understand these three so that he can work and maintain the life force with full sense of responsibility. That is, the life force will be maintained properly, it will not be used in excess quantities unwantedly, and will be properly maintained, preserved, and used by each and every individual. Here Maharishi also says one of the reasons behind why a religion was formed. He says that a religion is a system of harmonious and peaceful living formulated on the understanding of the existence and functioning of the life force. It is a code of moral behavior for the maintenance of valuable life energy so as to ensure a better living for everyone in the society and to develop consciousness to its fullness. So, though the guidelines of the religion have been taken somewhere else today, the main reason behind the various activities or rituals in a religion is to regulate and maintain the valuable life energy in a person, or it is a code of moral behavior. For this, we can take an example of fasting. Though today people say I am fasting and they do something, but they don't eat, just eat. So, what the actual purpose of fasting is to enhance or improve the willpower of a person. Even when a person stares at the food or some delicious food, the willpower in the person will be improved if he is fasting. He will have the willpower to not to eat the food even though it's in front of it. It doesn't mean that he shouldn't see the food at all. That then today that is what is happening. Today people say I am fasting, so don't bring food near me or don't show up food in front of me. That is not why the main reason of fasting was. Main reason behind fasting was to increase the willpower. That is, even if a very good food, if you love something and it is in front of you and you are under fasting, it is the willpower that will be improved in you to not to eat the food. So what will happen? Not just after a very good fast, you will have willpower to do anything. This will help you improve your character for the later future. Just like that, another example can be the ritual of going around the mountains, which we call the Girivalam. So this is because of planetary positions, the change in the planetary positions. We all know the Earth is rotating, and there are various planets around the Earth whose rays affect us directly. Maharishi has also given us various explanations for the same. So, in order to receive the good rays or to infuse the rays in our body in the proper way and to cope up with the Earth's rotating speed, is why Girivalam was turned down to a ritual. It is when people go around the mountain, the Earth's rays will also will be properly received by the person, as well as the other planets' rays will also be received in a proper and good manner. Similarly, waking early in the morning is something that religion says. Not just religions, even elderly, wise people also tell the same thing. Uh, Waking up in the early mornings will give us better vibrations, and it will have better good wavelengths and frequencies, and hence waking up in early in the morning will give us a better start for the day, and not just for the day. When it becomes a habit, a good start for our life as well. After this, Maharishi concludes this topic with a paragraph that is very important. That is, if the principle of the Panchatanmatra is understood by the modern scientists and intellectuals, half the gap between religion and science will be bridged. When the scientists and intellectuals understand the meaning, existence, and functions of the truth, otherwise called God, the remaining gap will be also bridged, and there will be no conflict whatsoever between religion and science. This may be quite surprising because the gap between religion and science is the one that is one of the biggest drawbacks in the entire world. It is a major problem causing it's a major reason behind various problems in today's world, that is religion versus science. Maharishi clearly says just two things. If the scientists and intellectuals understand just two things, the entire gap between the religion and science will be bridged. That is, science and religion will come together. This is really something that every person should look up to and understand, and believe that religion and science goes hand in hand, and that there's no versus or war between the religion and science. It should come to a point wherein science is equal to religion, rather than science versus religion. With this, we shall come to the end of today's English session. Thank you all for listening so patiently till now. I also thank all the Abu Dhabi, Aleen, and Musafa masters and the in charges for giving me such a great opportunity. Thank you so much. Be blessed by the divine. Be blessed by the divine. Be blessed by the divine.